So what is MCP and why is everyone from data analysts to AI creators talking about it? I'll hopefully show you in 2 minutes, and then I'll go over how it can be used and also how it can be used within data. So if you look at the picture on the left, you have it's an AI model, and that's LLM. That can be ChatGPT, that can be Claude, that can be Gemini, and it's trying to talk to 3 different tools at the moment. So it's Slack, Google Drive, and GitHub. The issue is each of those tools speaks its own language, so the AI needs a special sort of like translator for each of those single tools. So you can imagine the amount of work that's going to go in for that. So you're going to need one for Google Drive, one for GitHub, one for Slack. Now, imagine if that was a lot more and you triple that and you go even further and you have all of these different tools speaking to this one LLM model, providing different pieces of information. Now, on the right-hand side, you have the same LLM tool on Claude ChatGPT, for example, but there's something new in the middle, which is called Model Context Protocol. That's MCP, and it's one shared language. So basically, all of those previous connections will go into MCP, and then the AI will only have to communicate with that and learn that once. So it's speaking directly with the MCP. So why it matters is because previously, what you would have is a lengthy development time trying to create all of these unique APIs that connect to your LLM every single time you wanted to create an agent or a workflow. Now, the difference is previously you had to do that. If you did it now, all of those different APIs and all of those different applications will have MCP built in now, and it's growing as the days go on, and more business applications are using it. And MCP becomes this standardized thing for a chatbot or a large language learning model, and they all connect to the model directly. So, like, instead of you copying data information, another way of doing it was you copying information over. So instead of you copying information over every so often and then using it for your chat within Claude or your chat within ChatGPT, you can now instead of kind of like copying and pasting that information, which can be a lengthy process, you can ask your AI agent to query directly within a database. So you could say, like, you can ask Slack or Google Drive a specific piece of information that you might need. So say if you, I don't know, wanted to know how many sales were complete in the last week, you can ask that specifically instead of the Claude or the ChatGPT turning around and saying, oh, we don't have that information and we can't give it to you. So how is it used? So there are different ways that it can be used. So in a non-data profession, you could use that as a e-commerce store owner. You could connect Claude to your Shopify, and you can ask questions directly about your Shopify, like your sales, how many sales you're making, how many sales you made last week, specific questions that your agent can go in and ask for. Accountants can use it to connect to Xero or QuickBooks. Your HR departments connect to Workday, Bamboo, any other payroll system. But specifically, an example-specific data would be Claude could connect directly to your data warehouse, whether it's Snowflake, BigQuery, or you could connect to different cloud databases such as Azure and other applications as well. So there's no need for you to kind of query the information and then paste that into your AI tool. You can just directly query it, and that just speeds up so much time. So just to give you like a little quick process map of how it would work. So you would ask, so if your agent was connected to your databases, the cloud databases or something perhaps, you would ask the question as you normally would via your prompting. So you would ask, like, how many sales have we recorded in the last week in, say, North America? So from there, your LLM will understand the task. Your agent will understand exactly what you need to do. It will then decide how it needs to get that information. So generally, if you weren't connected, it would just turn around and say, I don't have access to that information. But this time around, it will check the available MCP tools that you have in place, and it will request that data, and it will work with the MCP to get that information. So then the MCP will connect to the database, so your cloud database. So we've just come to step 4. It'll connect to your database, and it will query that information based on what the LLM has understood from your prompt, as well as any other instructions that you've given it, and it will return the structured data that you need, but also more importantly, what your LLM needs to kind of create an output for you based on your prompt. So essentially what's happened is you've asked a question, the LLM has understood the task, your agent has understood the task, it's working with MCP to try and get that information. And then once it's got that information in a structured format from the MCP, it will then look into that information, it will analyze it, try and explain it, and then it will create the output that you've asked for, or whatever your workflow is within your organization, or however you work yourself, however that is. So that's how it would work, and then it will just give you your output. So there's kind of 2 really good things about that. The first is all you're doing is asking a question, and it's giving you responses directly working within your organizational kind of databases, your applications, your payroll systems, whatever it is. And then the second advantage is that you don't need to do any of like the manual input into that. So you don't need to give like a CSV file of the information so that it can go away and analyze. You don't need to like take a snippet of the query or anything else. You could literally just go in, ask the question, and it will do the rest of the work for you. Obviously, there's a little bit of setting up that you'd have to take into account in terms of how you set it up, and you have to work with data engineers to set up an MCP, so that your LLM can use it. There's a little bit of setup time, but in terms of how it works in MCP, this is the general structure of how it would work. But anyways, that's MCPs. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe.